What's up, Vinyl community? It's your boy Ryan Webb back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a topic in music that fascinates me a lot, and that is one-hit wonders. You know, those guys that just kind of came along to the scene, released one song that we all know and love, and then just kind of faded away without getting any other chance of becoming a big hit like the next Beatles. Like, I mean, it's just fascinating to me because I kind of like to hear what else they have out, because they have more than just that one song we all know. And in some cases with one-hit wonders, they technically have a second hit, but I mean, they're usually still labeled as one-hit wonders because maybe that second hit isn't as well remembered. Like, I know Rick Astley, he's labeled a one-hit wonder because he's got Never Gonna Give You Up and Together Forever. But I mean, I still hear Together Forever, but it's mainly Never Gonna Give You Up that we hear a lot around where I live. And so I've got a couple other one-hit wonders like that on here that are technically two-hit wonders, but we only really remember one of the songs, or that one of the songs gets the most play. I'll probably try and bring that up, but pretty much what I'm going to be doing in this video is I have the albums of these one-hit wonders. I'm going to talk about the hit, the album itself, and whether or not I can recommend the album or if I think you should just get the single. But with all that being said and done, let's get to the first one-hit wonder, Philip Bailey. And we all know him for his big hit, Easy Lover. It was a duet with Phil Collins. It reached number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100. And Philip Bailey, even though as a solo artist he's technically a one-hit wonder, we all know him as the lead singer from Earth, Wind & Fire, who were obviously not a one-hit wonder. They have plenty of hits, but as a solo artist, he just got that one hit with Phil Collins. And fun fact about this album, Phil Collins does not only sing on it, but Phil and his backing band play on the whole album, and Phil even produces the album. So that kind of gives you a sense of what the music is like on here. The whole album is almost kind of like if you mixed Earth, Wind & Fire with that 80s Phil Collins and Genesis sound. And I mean, if you really like that sound, then I'd say you would enjoy this record a lot, because I mean, it really carries a lot, like Photogenic Memory, I Go Crazy, For Every Heart That's Been Broken, sound a lot like it. And Easy Lover's got that classic Phil Collins drum sound. It's got these great guitar riffs, an amazing guitar solo, and just great vocal performance by both the Phils. I love Easy Lover a lot. It's a great song in my opinion. The album as well, or the album itself doesn't hold up as well as Easy Lover, but I mean, like I said, if you enjoy Earth, Wind & Fire and that 80s Phil Collins sound and you see this record for cheap somewhere, don't hesitate to pick it up in my opinion. You may enjoy it, but if you're just kind of a casual listener, like you only listen to Phil Collins and Easy Lover and Earth, Wind & Fire on the radio, then I just say stick with the single. You're probably not going to get too much enjoyment out of this record. Now for the next one, we've got one of my favorites on this list, The Buggles. Now we all know their big hit video killed the radio star. It reached number 40 on the US Billboard Hot 100, but let's be real, it got popular from MTV, not the charts, because I mean, it's a song about how video stars killed off the radio star era, kind of like how the talkies era of movies killed off the silent era of movies in a way. And I mean, video killed the radio star. I used to hate the song a lot, but I've grown to love it now. I think it's amazingly produced. It's got great bass lines on it, great hooks. You got the classic oh oh part in the song. I mean, it's just got a killer chorus that everyone can sing along to because it's just so simple. And the album itself, I personally love. Like, much like Video Killed the Radio Star, it has amazing production quality from Trevor Horn right here. Like, you got side 1, Living in the Plastic Age, I Love You Miss Robot. On side 2, you got Clean Clean and Elsh Tree, and the whole album is great, but those songs that I just named along with Video Killed the Radio Star are the highlights of the album. And even if you just casually enjoy Video Killed the Radio Star, I still recommend that you pick this whole album up because you can probably find it for cheap somewhere, and it's a great album to test out your turntable to, kind of like what people do with Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms album, to see how great their turntable is, because this is a great sounding record. It's audiophile quality in my opinion. It's well produced and I recommend it a lot. Now for the next one, we've got one that I'm not personally a fan of. We got Dead or Alive with their hit You Spin Me Round Like a Record. It reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. And now, I'm personally not too big of a fan of the song. I can listen to it like once every 6 months, but if I had to hear like every week, I would get sick of it. It's just kind of an annoying earworm that, I mean, it's only probably fun if you hear it on the dance floor, but as for the song itself, I don't really care for it. And the album itself, I haven't heard in years, because this was an album I got from my parents whenever I first started collecting. They gave me all the records that they had, and this was, I believe, my dad's, and I haven't listened to it in like 5 or 6 years, so I couldn't tell you if I recommend the album or not. I mean, I'm sure if you enjoy the song and you see this in a dollar bin, why not? But I don't really have an opinion on the album, unfortunately. But anyways, on to the next one, which I do have an opinion on. We got Rick Derringer with his hit Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. It reached number 23 on the Billboard Hot 100, but even though it was a pretty big hit back in the 70s, it's definitely not as well known as, say, or nowadays as his other one-hit song whenever he was a member of the McCoys, Hang On Sloopy. I figure I pretty much hear Hang On Sloopy more than I hear Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, but if you've seen the movie Dazed and Confused, you probably know the song Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo and enjoy it. And I mean, how can you, if you haven't heard the song Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, how can you not enjoy it? It's got so many great guitar licks on it. I love the chorus. We have the background singers going, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. I mean, it's a cheesy, stupid song title, let's be real, but for such a stupid song title, this dude kills it on the track. I love the song, but however, as for the album itself, it's just kind of a basic guitar rock album. None of the songs really stand out as well as Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. It still is a good listen, and if you see, it's another album that, like, if you see it for cheap, why not pick it up, but I'd say probably just stick with the single in my opinion. And now for the next one-hit wonder, it's probably the biggest one-hit wonder on this list that we all know. Dexy's Midnight Runners with their hit Come On Eileen. It reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and I mean, it's a great song. What more is there to say? It's got a catchy chorus that we can all sing along to. It's got that great breakdown towards the end. It's got the boom, come on, Eileen to Luraye. I mean, who doesn't love that part and just doesn't think, that's so good whenever that part hits? I just love it so much. And as well as lots of people. If you don't like Come On Eileen, you're wrong. You need to rethink your opinion and like it, in my opinion. That's just an extreme opinion. But anyways, as for the album itself, it lives up to the hype of Come On Eileen, in my opinion. Now, Come On Eileen is like probably the one 80s hit that was a Celtic soul song. Because, I mean, how many Celtic soul hits from the 80s can you think were as big as Come On Eileen? And the whole album is a Celtic soul type record. Like, the opening song is called the Celtic Soul Brothers. That gives you a hint of what type of album this record is. But it's great, in my opinion. Like, I love, all in all, this One Last Waltz. Jackie Wilson said, I'm in heaven when you smile. Old Liars, A to E. I mean, this is a great album that you can find for dirt cheap anywhere. And if you see it, definitely pick it up. Even if you're just like kind of a casual fan of Come On Eileen, I'd say pick it up. Now for the next one, this is another one kind of like Dead or Alive, where I don't really remember too much. It's David Essex's Rock On. This is another record I got from my parents. I believe it was my dad's, and I remember back when I started collecting, I had this album. I listened to it semi-frequently because I enjoyed it. Like, this album has Turn Me Loose and Street Fight, which I enjoyed, but the big hit is Rock On, the title track. It reached number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and I remember, I haven't heard it in years, but I remember it being a great song. I think it was kind of a relaxing type song. I don't know, I haven't heard it in years, but I remember enjoying it. This is another album kind of like Dead or Alive, to where I can't necessarily say I recommend it, not because it's bad, but just because I haven't heard it. But I'm sure if you enjoy the song, then maybe you'll enjoy the album. Now next up, we've got my personal favorite one-hit wonder on the list, A Flock of Seagulls. Now, we all know their song I Ran. It reached number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100. And they're technically a two-hit wonder, kind of like Rick Astley, because their other hit is Space Age Love Song. But that song, I don't hear it as much on the radio as I do I Ran. Like, I hear I Ran probably plenty of times a month whenever I listen to radio, which isn't too often because I get sick of radio, but whenever I do hear it, I hear I Ran pretty frequently, but I've never really heard Space Age Love Song on the radio, which is a shame because I much prefer Space Age Love Song over I Ran. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love it so much, but I Ran is also, a great song. You got the killer guitar riffs and the weird songs about aliens, which the whole album is pretty much about aliens. It's really strange. I've heard YouTuber Tom in the Shadows almost kind of say it's like the Ziggy Stardust of the 80s, and I mean, that's kind of true. It is a lot, kind of like, you got people pretend to be aliens, but they don't commit to it as much as David Bowie did. But this whole album is great, in my opinion. Besides the two hits, you got I Can Run, Messages, Telecommunications, Standing in the Doorway. I mean, this is a record that, of all the one-hit wonders, I recommend the most on this list. It's great. You need to have it in your collection pronto. Now for the next one-hit wonder, we've got Iron Butterfly with their 17-minute song, Inagata de Vida. I mean, that's a classic jam song. It's classic hippie, you listen to it and you want to take acid. I don't condone the use of acid though, don't take drugs. But I mean, when you listen to it though, you feel almost like you're on acid. It's just that trippy, but it's also just a great jam session. But it's 17 minutes, and I know not everybody's probably into 17-minute songs. And if you aren't into 17-minute songs, well, you're in luck, because there was like a 2 or 3 minute edit of the song that reached number 30 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. But I just don't think the 3-minute one gives the song justice as a 17-minute one. That'd be like listening to a 3-minute version of 2112 by Rush. That just doesn't make sense in my opinion. But however, even though I do love Inagata de Vida, this album itself I really am not a fan of. Side 1 is really not that good in my opinion. The best song was track 4, Termination, which I remember being okay. But I mean, I'll say I recommend this album, but only because it has a 17-minute of Inagata de Vida. But as a whole album, it's definitely not that great in my opinion. But yeah, if you want the full version, make sure to get the album. Now next up, we've got another great one-hit wonder, Nicolette Larson with her big hit, a cover of Neil Young's Lot of Love, which reached number 8 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. Now, as for the hit itself, the hit is great in my opinion. It's got those catchy horns. Nicolette Larson's vocal performance just kills it on the track. I just love Lot of Love so much. If you haven't heard the song, you need to hear it. If you listen to Yacht Rock Radio on Sirius XM, you've definitely heard it. It's just a great song. But however, the sad thing is, even though I love Lot of Love, the album itself doesn't hold up to that standard in my opinion. I mean, the songs are okay, they just don't hold that much of an impression on me. There's, however, one other really good song besides Lot of Love on this song, and that's Can't Get Away From You. And it features Eddie Van Halen on guitar, which is probably why I'm kind of biased towards it, because Eddie's my favorite guitar player of all time. But yeah, the album itself, besides Lot of Love and Can't Get Away From You, is just kind of okay. I'd say just mainly stick to the single unless you're a Van Halen fan and you really want to hear Eddie's guitar work on Can't Get Away From You, but otherwise just stick with the single. Next up, we've got another 80s one-hit wonder, new wave one-hit wonder, Gary Newman with his big hit Cars. That reached number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100. I'm sure we've all heard it. It's got that catchy synth riff, the yeah, we all know it. It's a catchy song. I do think it kind of goes on for a little bit too long without anything too much. It just kind of repeats the same riff over and over, but still I think it's an enjoyable song. And the album itself is also pretty good as well. Like, I loved Side 1 whenever I listened to it earlier this week. Side 2 isn't as good in my opinion, but I mean, it still is a really good album. And if you see it for cheap somewhere, then yeah, pick it up if you're a fan of 80s new wave. Next up, we got another really good one-hit wonder, and that's Pilot. Now, they're also kind of like A Flock of Seagulls and Rick Astley, where they're technically a 2-hit wonder. The hit I'm talking about on here is Magic. It reached number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and here in the US, that's the song that we know them for, but I think in like UK and Europe, they had a second hit called January. I'm not sure if it was big in the US, but I've never heard it. The only song I ever hear by them is Magic. So that's, to me, they're a one-hit wonder for Magic. And I mean, I love Magic. It's very simple, it just kind of repeats the same kind of verse-chorus thing, but I mean, it still does a great job at doing what it does. It's a nice, it's a nice 70s pop rock song that it's just so catchy and you can't help but sing along to the chorus. And the album itself I really like as well. It's got other 70s pop rock songs on it that are great, like Just a Smile, Lucky for Some, Girl Next Door, Don't Speak Loudly, and Over the Moon. I definitely recommend getting the album over the single, unless you just really don't care for the single, which if so, I don't know why you'd want to get I don't know why you want to get the single, but if you really do like Magic and you see this album, I'd say pick it up. Now, a little note to say is that here in the US, it was released just called Pilot. It's self-titled, but in the UK, it was released under an album called From the Album of the Same Name. I don't know why I think they meant to say From the Band of the Same Name for that title, but they instead got From the Album of the Same Name. But they both have the same cover art, but in the UK, you just see Pilot From the Album of the Same Name, but with US, it just says Pilot. Just a little note in case you do decide to get it. Next up, we've got another new wave. I guess they're more post-punk type sounding, but the hit is a bit, I'd probably say new wave. The Vapors with their hit "Turning Japanese." Now I love "Turning Japanese." It's got so many great like riffs, guitar riffs in it, and it's got the catchy chorus. It reached number 36 in the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, which I personally think it should have reached higher because it's just that good. But I don't know. I guess people didn't know it. I don't know. They're too busy listening to Air Supply or Journey or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't alive in 1979 or 80 whenever this came out. But yeah, the song "Turning Japanese" I love, and the album itself, it's pretty good. You got 60-second interval, Spring Collection, Prisoners. It's a good album. If you just kind of like "Turning Japanese" casually, then I'd say stick with the single. But if you're like me and you really like the song a lot, then I'd say check out the album. Even if you don't care for it too much like I do, to just think it's pretty good, it still is worth listening to. Cause it's similar to the Jam if you ever listen to them, which they were discovered by the Jam's bass player. Fun fact. Next up, we've got another really big one. This, I'd probably say maybe the second biggest behind "Come On Eileen." We've got Wild Cherry with their big hit, "Play That Funky Music." Now, we all know that song. I'm sure we all love it. It's got that killer guitar with the boom, boom, bam, 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 boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. I mean, what more to say about it? It's just a funky song, and it's a lovable song. We hear on the radio a lot down here, but I don't get tired of it because I love it a lot. Great song. But anyways, as for the album itself, to me, a lot of the songs just kind of felt like maybe the record label or the band was just like, hey, that "Play That Funky Music" song that did really well? Do it again. And just kind of milk that song for all it's worth. And by the way, "Play That Funky Music" reached number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, so that's probably why they wanted to milk it some more, because it did really well. But, I mean, a lot of the songs on here, they definitely feel just kind of like they're trying to copy it, like especially their cover of "I Feel Sanctified" by the Commodores. I was really kind of annoyed when I heard it, because I was like, this is literally just "Play That Funky Music" just in a Commodores cover fashion. They sound so similar in my opinion. It just kind of annoyed me. The only other song on this album that I really like is a ballad called "Hold On," which, even though the rest of the album is kind of mediocre, "Hold On" is the saving grace of this album. It's a great song in my opinion. I love the guitar licks and the soul singers of the chorus. It's just a great song, but I can't recommend this album. Just stick with the single in my opinion. Alright, and now we've got one final one-hit wonder on the list, and that is Warren Zevon with his big hit "Werewolves of London." Now, I personally love the song. It's amazing in my opinion, despite how stupid the lyrics are. I mean, even Warren knew how stupid they were. I think he wrote the song on a bet with the Everly Brothers, and he wrote the lyrics in like 30 minutes, but the piano is just so catchy, and it features John McVie and Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac obviously on this track, and they kill it in the rhythm section. And I mean, there's just not enough good things I could say about the track, honestly. I love it. It's great. And the album itself, even though it's not goofy like Werewolves of London, it still is really good. Like Johnny Strikes Up the Band, Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner, Excitable Boy, Nighttime in the Switching Yard, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. It definitely the album takes itself really seriously, but it still is really good, and it's another album you can find for dirt cheap, and I'd say if you do, pick it up. It's just, you won't regret it in my opinion. It's a great rock album. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment your favorite one-hit wonders and favorite one-hit wonder albums, and if you feel the need to ramble like I do, even make a video if you want. Let's get a thread going. Let's spread some love for the one-hit wonders in the VC, because these one-hit wonders, I feel like they should make a comeback and become more than one-hit wonders, which is probably too late for that, but still, let's try and get these one-hit wonders popular in the VC if we can. But with all that being said, done, I'm Ryan Webb, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.